Hi, my name is Professor Jared Turner. Welcome to INB 420, Global Politics and Organizations, and we're going to have a course this term where we go over a lot of the concepts that make up the different organizations and countries and the politics involved around the world. So welcome to the class, and we're going to go ahead and get started here in week one. Global Power and Complexities is the title of the first week's presentation. We're going to talk about what global politics is evolved from international politics as a term. It's really complex and confusing based on events such as a global economic and banking and mortgage crisis from 2007, which not only affected the U.S. but affected many other countries around the world. It showed some kind of structural weakness in the system, the vulnerability of the system. We're going to talk about organizations that try to help shore up and maintain a stability in the system, that being the G20, made up of mostly traditional Western countries from around the world, heads of states that try to help determine and guide economic policy. Global actors, there are many global actors in the world community today. We're going to focus on organizations. We're going to start obviously traditionally with states. States have had sovereignty where they've recognized a territory, population, organization, and has been recognized having defined characteristics, and that's what's made up of a nation state. And that principle has been around for the last 300 or 400 years, how one country's recognized another country, or a set of countries that recognized a country. So other global actors are international organizations that we're going to go over in this course. There's many international organizations. We're going to have terms like IGOs, intergovernmental organizations, NGOs, non-governmental organizations, public and private partnerships. We're also going to talk about multinational corporations, the rise of these large companies with subsidiaries and offices and large presence, both manufacturing and otherwise, in many different countries. So we're going to go over that. But at the heart of it, it's about individuals as well. It's about each of us. So we're going to talk about the individual and global politics and how we all fit in. There are several different views. There's a realist view. The realist view holds that we're all driven by competitive self-interest, and so are nation states and countries and organizations, and that still holds true. That's really the most dominant view. There's the liberalism view. That's that people in countries that represent themselves are capable of finding mutual interest and cooperating with other countries to achieve those mutual interests. Global politics is also about finances, of course. The most powerful country in the world is the U.S. Some would debate that now, but as far as it's involved is really governs the U.S. really helps push and drive policy for the world to an extent, and we'll talk about maybe the U.S. role maybe lessening a bit in that area. We're going to talk about how global politics affects our own economic well-being, our own space, our own life, and our own future in the world. There's several international financial institutions. Those are called IFIs. So we're going to have a lot of really short synonyms and names for things. I want to show you this first slide about the world population growth, the population in billions. If you look back at 1960, there were like 3 billion people on the planet, and now there's over 7 as of 2012, obviously pushing closer to 7.5 here as in the making of this video. But really, for just for us to think about 3 billion people in the entire world, China has around 2 billion people now, to give you some context to that. We're going to talk about international relations and the theory. We're going to analyze politics and how we can all make better personal decisions, and organizations can make better decisions, and of course countries and to deal with each other can make better decisions. We're not going to really try to referee or pick sides, but I want you to think about the theory, ultimately think about where you come down on this, share your viewpoints in the class on the discussion boards, and really want to know what you think and why, and try to back up your reasoning in the discussions in class with solid research, and also your fact-based thought. And that's really going to be a great course in that regard. All opinions are valuable, and we all respect one another, so we look forward to really hearing your opinions throughout this course. We're going to use the theory to see how it affects foreign policy and what should the future be and what should be in far as politics moving forward in the rest of the 21st century. Defining politics and defining power is really the who, what, when, and how, and that's really important because that's the basis of a lot of disputes, and both locally, regionally, nationally, globally. Who gets what, when, and how, and it's no less true in global politics and dealing with organizations. The who, the what, the when, and the how. Seems basic, but yet we come back to that. The way to interpret this, we're going to have what's called levels of analysis approach. Is how to interpret power. The nature and application of power in global politics requires us to look at it from what's called a level of analysis. Then there's the origins and applicability of behavioralism. That's another term, like levels of analysis. You're going to look at it on both a behavioral level, the state level, and then also see here individual level, the role of distinct personalities in the system. And there's the state level again. System level analysis emphasizes importance of the impact of the world conditions on actions of states and other international actors. I'm just putting this slide in here just for our reference to be thinking about a backdrop and a lens as far as the U.S. foreign held debt. You see up in 2006 it was up to 44%. So was held by other countries of the U.S. debt. Now it's down to 32 as of this graph in 2010. I think it's kind of stabilized around 32%. So it's still about the same. But if you go back, look at the beginning of the graph, it's 4.75% back until 1970 when we started exchanging and trade imbalances, which you see has mounted into really an alarming amount of debt that the U.S. owes other countries and other organizations around the world. Another interesting slide, I think, just to start from our perspective for the course, is to look at the percent of Americans who favor the U.S. compliance with world organizations, United Nations, World Trade Organization, International Monetary Fund, International Court of Justice, International Criminal Court. We'll all talk about these organizations, but look from a starting point from this study, 66, 68, 2/3, except for the International Court of Justice, which is just a little under 2/3 at 57%. Almost 2/3 or more of every category, the Americans favor compliance and following the rules of these world-based organizations. That's kind of the end of the first week here. Again, I want to kind of make sure that you have a good focus for the course. I want you to enjoy the first week, ask questions in class, and really we'll move on to week 2 and have a good week.